from the heart of Transylvania to the Arctic Circle, 8,000 kilometers in 16 days. This video is different from the previous ones because the emphasis won't be on hiking but on the special infrastructure of Norway. We started our journey from Cluj on Friday afternoon after work, which wasn't a wise decision because we reached Prague at dawn. After a few hours of sleep, we went into the city, and in spite of the forecast showing 0% precipitation, a huge storm caught us at the Charles Bridge. Next day, we traveled to northern Denmark. In Aalborg, we escaped Central Europe's heat wave and noticed for the first time that days are getting longer. On the third day, we got on a huge ferry in Hirtshals, Denmark. It was a new experience for both of us to travel on a ferry, with its inside looking like the duty-free section of an airport. After 3 hours on the ferry, we arrived in Kristiansand, Norway, and began searching for a wild camping spot. On the next morning, we woke up in a beautiful place, but my night was far from perfect because my mattress was leaking. So we had to make a detour to Stavanger to buy a new one. Because of that, after another ferry ride, we started quite late our hike to the Preacher's Stone. So we had to basically run during the beautiful hike to reach Preikestolen in daylight. You will find out more details about this hike from a later video, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. After this introduction, more emphasis will be on footage about the Norwegian roads. In the upper left corner you will see where are we on the map, and in the bottom part, the number of the road and the location. We got back from the hike to the car after midnight, so it wasn't easy to find a ferry back to our tent. First, we tried the one from Forsand to Lysefjord without success. Then we had to wait in Ånes. After that, we had to make a huge detour to Vikesa because of roadblocks. So we went to sleep again at dawn. On the next day, we had the chance to travel on the highest road of South-Western Norway. Suleskarvegen reaches 1056 meters and in some places has a steepness of 12.5%. It climbs 350 meters during 4.2 kilometers and has an average steepness of 8.3%. As you have noticed, Norwegian roads are often so narrow that two cars cannot pass each other. Because of that, one of the cars has to stop at the meeting points, sometimes marked by the letter M, and wait for the car coming from the opposite direction. National Road 9 we observed for the first time in the mountain sections the poles at the sides of the road, which in big snow showed the direction. It was already dark when on our fifth day we have reached Lysefjordbrua, one of Norway's famous waterfalls, but we could still see it in artificial lighting. Next day it was time for the world-famous Trollstigen hike. About the hike and how we managed to avoid the usual 60-90 minute line to take photos, you will find out in a later video. Our seventh day was full of attractions as we visited several waterfalls and famous roads. First, we made a small detour to the 182-meter tall Vøringsfossen waterfall, which is one of the most visited in the country. On National Road 7 leading there is a whole network of tunnels, including Storgetunnelen, which makes a turn of 270 degrees and gets below itself. It was on this section when the Norwegian infrastructure amazed us for the first time for real, when we saw a roundabout in the tunnel. We made another detour to the powerful Skjervsfossen waterfall, where we could try out a public bathroom with a unique view. After checking out the amazing view from the yard of Hotel Stalheim, it was time for probably the most extreme driving experience of our Norwegian journey. Stalheimskleiva is one of the steepest roads in Northern Europe. It was built between 1842 and 1846. The road, containing 13 hairpin bends, is one way. Driving is only allowed on the way down. In 1.75 kilometers it descends 258 meters. It has an average steepness of 14.7% and a maximum steepness of 20%. Before reaching Gudvangen, we checked out the Helgelandsbrua waterfall, which is almost 800 meters tall, being the 18th tallest waterfall in the world. After driving through Norway's second longest tunnel, the 11.5 kilometer long Gudvangentunnelen, we continued on Bjørgavegen, the snow road. On its first section you can find the famous Setesdalsveien lookout point, giving you amazing views to Lysefjord. The snow road climbs above 1300 meters, being one of the highest roads of the country, and it lived up to its name even in the middle of August. There were 3 degrees and the snow patches were not missing. got our fair share of spectacular roads and records on the 8th day as well, having portions with a steepness of 12.5% and climbing up to 1322 meters. Tindevegen is a road through which most GPS devices don't plan routes. It's also called the Roof of Norway and the shortcut through Jotunheimen. From it we turn to Sognefjellsveien, the highest road of Northern Europe. Its highest point is at 1434 meters and it passes nearby Norway's highest peaks.
We continued on National Road 15, then on Road 63, getting close to Geiranger, part of the UNESCO World Heritage.
The next day was the pinnacle of our journey when it comes to the roads, because it was time for the Trolls Road, the Atlantic Ocean Road and the Atlantic Ocean Tunnel. Trollstigen, or the Trolls Road, is a road with 11 hairpin bends, opened in 1936 by the Norwegian king. The Atlantic Ocean Road is considered the most spectacular road on the planet. In 2005, it won the Norwegian Construction of the Century prize. The 8.5 km long route contains 8 bridges and it was opened in 1989.
Atlantic Ocean tunnel reaches a depth of 250 meters, making it one of the deepest undersea tunnels in the world. It has a length of 5.7 kilometers and its maximum steepness is 10%. It's open for traffic since 2009. It was built in less than 4 years. On the 10th day, we reached northern Norway, the land of the moose. The next day, my favorite hike from Norway took place, when after scrambling a never-ending rock field covering 1,000 meters, a unique view showed up in front of our eyes, and on the way down, our efforts were rewarded by a never-ending sunset. This was the day when the idea of the Transylvanian Hiker YouTube channel and blog was born. The island is connected to the rest of Norway through the spectacular Helgeland Bridge. It's 1 kilometer long. It was opened in 1991 after 2 years of work. In a beautiful place, but the temperature signaled that we have reached quite far to the north. After 4,575 kilometers, we have reached the northernmost point of our journey and we could step to the other side of the Arctic Circle. Because my vacation days were running out, we had to turn back to get home in time. On our way back, we also had a flat tire, which was fixed by the workers at the Subaru dealership after closing time. On the evening of day 14, we have passed through the Öresund Bridge, which connects Sweden to Denmark. Then we took the night ferry from Gäsö, Denmark to Rostock, Germany.
15th date it was a long way from Rostock to Oradea, which I don't recommend to anyone to drive in a single day. After 8,000 kilometers and more than 100 hours of driving, on the 16th date we got back to Cluj. As you found out from this video, the idea of the YouTube channel was born on this trip. Because of that, the footage that you saw was made for personal use only and it's not the best quality. I hope that you still enjoyed it.